Bless up. It's your boy Change Agent Cooper. Hey, like this channel, subscribe to this channel, click the bell for notifications. I got a lot of content coming out. You want to know when it's coming out, you dig? I got a lot to say and I'm going to say it. I got a lot of experience, strength, and hope, and I'm going to share it. For me not to would be blasphemy. It would be blasphemy, y'all. And today, I wanted to share with you why it's important for you to engage the person that's incarcerated around 90 days before their release, to start building relationships with them, especially if you're a community health worker providing reentry services. Establishing that rapport prior to release is imperative. You dig what I'm saying? And let's not forget, when you look at social determinants of health, the social and community context is one of the ones that we cannot afford to not address for the returning citizen while we're providing services. And so with me, I got him on speaker. I got change agent Rick Montgomery, who is a certified community health worker. Rick, tell him what's up.
Hey, how y'all doing today? How you doing? What's going on, Phil? You all right today?
Man, I'm good. So I appreciate you being willing to come on the video this morning, because what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, is so Rick hit me up. So Rick's a certified community health worker. There's a returning citizen that got put on our radar around maybe 7 days before he got out, if that, you know what I'm saying? And so when the young man got out, this is a younger man, younger than 30. He has some charges on his record that are violent, black, male, you dig what I'm saying? So when he gets out, he gets out and he goes to we get him housed, because housing is housing first, right? So we get the man housed, and he goes to a halfway house. So that's the model around here in Bucko County. We don't have a federal halfway house. We don't have halfway houses that's just for reentry. They're get mixed in with folks who are in recovery from addiction, who are coming from treatment centers and stuff like that. So this young black male who isn't necessarily in recovery from addiction ends up going to a halfway house. So he's more than likely the only black male there. And so we know that we had to try to connect with him as soon as possible. So when he got out of prison, he was on our radar the past couple of days for us to get the services provided for him. Rick, tell us a little bit about your experience with trying to connect with him once he had got out.
Oh, Lord. Actually able to I got connected. I got his phone number and his information on, what was that? I think Thursday. Okay. And he actually, I called him. I reached out to him. He was kind of receptive, but because I feel that the problem was, in the time of his incarceration, he didn't have a chance to really change his thought pattern or nothing. So when I got to him, he was still real anxious to go do stuff. So when I called him to tell him that I was coming to get him and, ride with him and talk, go have coffee, sit down and talk, and probably go to a meeting, he actually told me that he had something already planned. And then, and we see this time and time again with young men, then when I tell him to contact me the next day, I actually reach out to him because we are boots on the ground. Yeah. And by the time I reach out to him, he doesn't answer the phone. This is the next day. This is Friday. So he doesn't answer the phone for me. Then I get a call back. I mean, a text, not a call, a text, because he ain't used to communicating with me. Mm-hmm. He calls me, he texts me and say, "Who is this?" Well, it's Saturday morning, and I think this is December the 10th, and he calls me and he says, "I need you." Mm. So now he's been put out of the recovery house that he stays in because he missed curfew and was over a girl house, and now we have to find him somewhere else to go.
And so let me jump in right there. And so the reason why engaging people 90 days before they get out, establishing rapport and connecting with them, sharing your own lived experience with them, making that true, authentic connection, that prison in-reach. The reason why that's important is because you want to build relationship with them before they come home, so they don't even give you the runaround. So it sounds like Rick got the runaround a little bit with the brother, because by the time he got out, he was on his own too. And that's what happens when you get the last minute connections. That's why it's integral. Like if we really want to address recidivism and we really want to address mass incarceration, if we're serious about it, we have to improve the reentry process. And that's what I'm talking about. When you hear me say criminal justice reform, I'm talking about reforming reentry, because prison has saved lives, but prison has to have rehabilitation and it has to have efficient reentry services. And so what we're talking about here is a last minute connection with a brother that ended up doing his own thing, missed curfew, and he's put out. So now we have to go over and beyond to make sure he gets safely housed. And that's something that we're gonna work on helping him with. But Rick, have you got to meet him in person yet?
No, never got a chance to meet him, because when I first talked to him, I said I was going straight to him. As soon as he got on my radar, we like to attack. So I was on my way to him, and he flipped me. Hey man, well, I had something I was already getting ready to do, and all that. So actually, what exactly happened? I said, "Where you at? Text me your address." He texted me the address, and after he texted me, he called and say, "Are you coming right now?" I said, "Man, yeah, I'm on my way." "Oh, well, man, I don't mean to spin you or nothing, man, but I had something I was about to do, and I got some things, and, so this is what happens when we don't have a chance to get with these brothers before they get ready to come home. Because from experience, because I just did 6 years, 5 years, 10 months, and I was connected with Jesse, I'm the Oxford House coordinator, reentry coordinator, like at least 60 days before I got out. I knew I had a place to go. Mm-hmm. So with that experience, I know why it's important, because it changed my thought pattern a lot too. Getting used to, all right, this is what I'm going to have to do with my life. I knew it was going to be structure. I knew that I was going to be held accountable. Right. So, that's we have to have this, man. We have to have them caseworkers and programmers reach out to us. All they have to do is give them the phone number. I'm quite sure we can get a cell phone set up where we can accept free jail calls. Yeah, man,
and that's the process. So, like, for the viewers, if you're a decision maker, you're a stakeholder, and you're wanting to collaborate, I can provide the consulting to help roll this thing out. I'm telling you, it's replicable. And so with what we're talking about now, this is what it's like whenever it's not done right from the inside. And I understand the prisons are short staffed, so that affects the person's reentry plan. But we're here to say, listen, with the prisons being short staffed, trust us, we're certified community health workers. We have lived experience and we have successfully reentered society, completed our post-release and all of those things. We've been out for a while. I've been out since 2011. Rick's been out for a couple of years. We know the game and we know how it works. We hold people accountable. We lived on the yard. We survived on the yard. We get it. We get accountability. And a lot of folks get out of prison. They get accountability too. It ain't new. It ain't new. On the yard, it was the same way. And that's why it's important for us to connect with them while they're still on the yard, because we speak the same language. And so with this young man right here, we're under the gun. It's a Saturday. Rick works part-time as a certified community health worker with us, but he works in the preventative health space with the YMCA full-time. So he does like evening engagements and weekend engagements to just normalize the relationship, take people to the grocery store, to meetings, church, different things like that, like in the community context. You dig what I'm saying? And so this gentleman has been hard to connect with. Now he's on fire with this situation. So now Rick will have an opportunity to connect with him and meet face to face finally. But it wasn't our fault. We're here and we're putting out fires. We're first responders, second responders, because they ain't get it to us. Second responders because they ain't get them to us first. But this is why it's important to have that proactive connection, establish rapport, humanize the individual, share our story. There goes the trust, and that's with the community health worker profession. Trust is a part of the definition. Like if you look up the definition of a community health worker, whether you go to the definition on the National Association of Community Health Workers website, or you go to the North Carolina Community Health Workers website, listen, let me tell you something. Trust is embedded in the definition. We are links, liaisons, and intermediaries that serves as a trusted connection in the community, connecting people to resources as it relates to those social drivers that impact our health. And in the matter concerning returning citizens, we understand that the social and community context is imperative if we are to address recidivism. Because if people don't have people in their circle, that positive support in their circle, they will feel anxiety, they will feel depression, they will feel all those uncomfortable emotions that come along with last-minute reentry plans, and they will resort to what they know best. They will resort to what they know best.
You better say it. You better say it, brother.
They will. And we've seen it, and that's why we're so passionate about addressing it, and that's why we are here to partner with purpose. So if you're a case manager, a stakeholder, division of public safety worker, anybody with the Department of Justice or the Bureau of Prisons, and you're watching this video and you want to talk about this replicable model, we can take this model state to state, city to city, wherever there's people returning home from prison. This model will work. We call it 90 and 90. I call it the full 180, 90 and 90. You connect with them 90 days before they get out. The case manager can put them on the phone. We email back and forth to get a time scheduled to get on the phone with the individual, share our stories. If they will allow us to see them in person, we're not opposed to that, but we're going with what's available with the short-staffed prisons. But once we connect with that individual, then we have the what's called the Text Behind app. That is where we have a staff member who can write that individual a letter or two, just checking in, and then when it gets closer for them to come home, we secure a bed wherever they need to go. You know, we do our individualized reentry plan to see what all components that need to be addressed, from driver's license restoration, old fines and fees, reunification with family, continuity of healthcare, whether it's medical or behavioral health. You know, we're looking at all those social drivers, looking at their work history. Did they work while they in prison? Like, these are the components that we're dealing with before they get out. So by the time we welcome them home, we can connect them with a job easy, have them an annual exam schedule easy, comprehensive clinical assessment already scheduled. That's why it's important to do it 90 days before. So when they come out, they got stuff to do and they're not already busy doing whatever they came up with because they didn't have nobody following up with them in the first place. Would you blame them? Could you blame them?
No. Go to what you know.
That's what people do. So yeah, man, if this made sense and you want to connect, Change Agent Cooper, check out our website, operationgateway.org. You can reach me at coop@operationgateway.org. And yeah, man, remember, we all have a role to play in this reentry ecosystem. And if you're passionate about it, I want to hear from you, because we can change the world one person at a time, one day at a time. My name is Change Agent Cooper. I'm not the answer, but I'm for damn sure the alternative. Be blessed.